So it looks like part one was successful. So let's move on to part two. I'm also in the studio, so there's a band playing above me, so that's the random extra noise, but I think we should still be okay. So I went ahead and cut out all of the individual shapes that I drew. The most important thing, you should not cut out anything inside of something else. So where in my animal do you see a shape inside of a shape? If you said the eyes or the nose, then you're right. So we're gonna leave those for the last steps. So I went ahead and I kind of chose papers that I wanted for each of the stencil shapes, and I traced them and I cut most of them out, but I'm gonna do one with you guys together. So these pieces I'm calling stencils. You should save these because you might end up wanting to use them later on in your project again to maybe add in more details like the nose or the mouth, or if you wanted to add another shape inside of a shape. So save these for now. I'm gonna move some of these to the side. We're gonna end up needing these two later so that we can recut out the eyes and nose, and then end up tracing them onto the paper. So the first paper I'm choosing is this one, and I'm gonna use that for this mask-like shape. You can trace it on the front or the back, it's up to you. I went ahead and traced it, lined it up, traced my stencil, and then I'm gonna end up cutting this out. So we're kind of, again, using all of our fun paper, and we're building our animal just with really simple shapes. Your animals don't have to look realistic, they can be playful. That's like one of the major things that I love about Claire Young's artwork, is how simple and playful her artwork is. So like I said, I kind of went ahead and moved forward without you guys, but that way you can kind of see how the process would work. So you would go ahead and do that same process, like stencil shape, paper, whatever paper you wanted to do, flip it over, trace it, cut it out, and then you're gonna end up building your animal just like I did. So once your animal has all of its major shapes cut out, then that's your chance to go back in and cut out any smaller shapes that you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the eyes. And again, I'm trying to maintain the form of the stencil just in case I want it later. Okay, so this eyeball, I'm gonna end up using a magazine sheet for, because I want her eyes to be black. And I'm gonna go ahead and trace one eye here. Okay, and then cut it out. That was her right eye. So I would put that over here. And I would go ahead and do that for the left eye. I'm gonna use that same paper. And then I would go ahead again and do that for the nose. Now I can either make this 3 shapes or I could make this one big shape. It's really just up to you. Okay, and again, it doesn't have to be realistic. I could use the teal on here, or I could use the dark blue. Everything is totally up to you. Okay, this part might be a little too fat. All right. And by the way, for my background, I ended up using one of my prepared papers. I I didn't really have a shape that I necessarily wanted it for, so I figured I could just use it as part of my background. You could use white paper like a lot of Claire Young's artwork has, or you could use one of your prepared papers. It's, again, totally up to you. Looks like the band stopped. All right, so this would be her nose, and then I would go ahead and do her other eye. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how you could go back into shapes. So, for instance, I wanted a little white piece here and a white piece here, and I wanted some orange pieces here. So I actually used the stencils I already had and was able to trace another shape inside and cut it out. So I might put that there. I might put this here. And then I did the same thing for the her fur, like where her neckline is. I ended up using this same stencil again, just on the orange paper and tracing over the shapes. And then I can add that onto the side. And voila. So I'm missing an eye, and maybe I might want to add a couple more things. You can, again, feel free if you want to add spots or other shapes in the background. Again, this is your project, so whatever other creative things you want to add into it, go right ahead. But I look forward to seeing your artwork, and I'm going to post my finished picture as well. All right, happy making.